Hi. I was recently on Yahoo Finance and I saw that the rate of inflation was 3%. And this article was saying this was a good rate of inflation, blah, 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 it was manageable. Well, I did a little bit of math and I found that a 3% rate of inflation means that in 24 years, the purchasing power of your dollar will be reduced in half. So that means you will need to make twice as much as you're making in 24 years from now than you're making right now to be making the exact same amount as you're making right now. Now, in my opinion, 24 years is not a long time, and that is too high of an inflation rate. So I wanted to make a video and say, well, what's inflation about, and kind of talk about it. But first I want to say, this book, The Creature from Jekyll Island, I've been reading. It's about money, it's about inflation, it's about the Federal Reserve, really. It's great. I would get it, I would read it. You'll learn a lot. You'll thank yourself for reading it, too. I don't like to read books, and when I started reading this, I couldn't stop, so go for it. So let's talk about our system of money a little bit first. Our money is backed by debt. There's no limit to the amount of debt you can have, which means there's no limit to the amount of money you can have. When it was backed by gold and silver, there was a limit to the amount of money you could have. There's a limit to the amount that, well, there was a limit. Now there's no limit. So, okay, we're backed by debt. Now, by the law of supply and demand, when you have more of something, the value of it goes down in relation to the demand. So if the supply of money goes up and the demand doesn't increase, the value of it goes down. And that's what our current system is based off of. But as we know, since there's a rate of inflation right now, the demand is not going up for money. The demand for money is not going up in our market. So things are costing more. Now, where does this money come from? It comes from the central bank, the Federal Reserve. Our government borrows money from the Federal Reserve, and it creates more money, and it's more money supply. It devalues the currency. Now, that's pretty basic. The government doesn't tax us. They do tax us, but for other stuff, they borrow it. When they're borrowing, they're devaluing our dollars. They're making our savings, our money worth less. But they're reaping the benefits of the value of the dollar when they spend it. Because when it gets into our system, when it gets into our market, then the value drops. Okay? So instead of taxing us, the government is simply inflating the money supply. They're increasing the amount of money. And it's robbing you and me of our savings. Now, if the government wouldn't do this and would use a different money system, and we didn't have inflation, you know, our savings would hold. We could just leave our money in the bank and it would be worth what it's worth later on. That's why I like gold and silver, because they keep the politicians honest. They can't just create more money. They can't just borrow more money. And it also basically stabilizes our currency. So that's just what I wanted to say. I just want to throw out some thoughts about that. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have any corrections. Go ahead and send them my way. Thanks.